Giving you a little extra. 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 Giving you a little 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 extra. A lot Meg. 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 Because you're listening to Know the Lore. Because you're listening to Know the Lore Overwatch. Because you're listening to Know the Lore Overwatch. Hey there, Overwatch fans. It is Slurrednerd here, also known as Chris. Usually I do that backwards, but I'm changing things up today, and I am here with another episode for you in April of 2018. Here with another episode for you in April of 2018, which means we have a new Overwatch hero to talk about, and with her comes some new lore to discuss. So what's interesting about this hero is that we've actually known her for quite some time. At least ever since the first batch of Overwatch comics, where she was seen with Reinhardt and repairing his armor. Where she was seen accompanying and repairing Reinhardt's armor. Where she was following Reinhardt and helping him repair his armor in the comic Dragon Slayer. So of course you know who I'm talking about. We're talking about Brigitte Lindholm. So obviously she has now been verified to be Torbjorn Lindholm. So obviously she has been verified as Torbjorn Lindholm's daughter. If you've been playing Overwatch, you know all about Torbjorn. He was Overwatch's main engineer and weaponsmith. And so growing up, Brigitte, the eldest of Torbjorn and his wife Ingrid's children, wanted to be just like her dad, who also had a close friend that became Brigitte's godfather, and that was Reinhard Wilhelm. As she grew older, Brigitte chose to accept a position as Reinhardt's squire, following him around and repairing or upgrading his armor as he needed. Brigitte chose to accept a position as Reinhardt's squire and followed him around, repairing or upgrading his armor as needed. However, it wasn't really enough for her. Now, as a 28-year-old adult, she saw the need. Now, as a 28-year-old adult, she sees the need to step up and not just support, but also join the fight as well. Based on Reinhardt's gear, Brigitte crafted up her own armor. Based on Reinhardt's gear and using the craftsmanship that she learned from her father, She created her own armor, shield, and a rocket flail. She created her own armor, shield, and weaponry. As she was inspired by her father and Reinhardt, Brigitte hopes to inspire others to do good and fight for honor and justice. Just like she was inspired by her father and Reinhardt, Brigitte hopes to inspire others to do good and fight for honor and justice. And yes, this is going to be a very, very quick episode because we already knew a lot about Brigitte. But there is one more thing that I wanted to mention, which is kind of cool about her, and it's actually more about something else. But I did just want to mention one quick side note. But I did have to mention something super fun that the Overwatch team implemented with her backstory, and that is Brigitte's cat. So a long time ago, there was some information provided by the Overwatch team dealing with some of the ideas for detailing some of the detailed some of the ideas for characters that have come and gone over the couple years that it's been out. Some of these ideas developed into actual characters, and some of these ideas developed into actual characters that we can play now, and some were major Some of those ideas developed into actual characters after some major tweaks, as was the case with Hanzo and Genji, who were originally the same character in conceptualization. And obviously, all the characters who were originally the same character, and obviously all the characters released after the initial launch, like Ana, Sombra, Orisa, Doomfist, and Moira. One of the goofier concepts that the team eventually dropped was a cat with a jetpack. No, I'm not even kidding. This was an early concept from the Overwatch team, but obviously it didn't come to fruition, although lots of fans still kind of want to see that happen. Well, the cat will probably never be a playable character, but it actually does exist in the Overwatch lore. In the introduction video that Blizzard released giving Brigitte's background, you can see her as a young girl designing and experimenting with different inventions, including placing a jetpack onto her cat. So hopefully that satisfies everybody. Hopefully that satisfies everyone. We have a brand new hero who is a badass female in heavy armor, and the Jetpack Cat lives. I don't know if any of you have played her just yet. Like I said, I'm recording this in April. She was just released a few weeks ago. I waited a little bit to release this episode to see if we got more lore, to see if we received any more lore about her, after her release. It doesn't really seem the case. I guess we pretty much got everything right up front that had to do with Brigitte. But it's still very satisfying to have this awesome character. The voice actress suspiciously looks quite a bit like her, and that's very cool as well. And is the voice actress for Brigitte suspiciously also looks kind of like her character, and thankfully actually is a Swiss voice actress. So that's really cool. So that's really awesome. Blizzard again using people from all around the world to include in this very inclusive game. To use in this extremely inclusive game. I can tell you right now, Brigitte is definitely one of my favorite characters to play ever since she dropped that. And I can't wait to try her out in competitive. Speaking of playing the actual game, every once in a while you might be able to catch me on Twitch if you look. Speaking of Speaking of, you might be able to catch me. Speaking of, you might be able to catch me playing every once in a while, even if you don't have a PS4, which is where I play Overwatch. Currently, I am debating going to PC, but I am debating going to PC, but we'll see. So if you add NerdSloth on Twitch, so please go and follow NerdSloth on Twitch. That is the network. That is our podcast. That is our network Twitch account. And every once in a while, you will see some other games on there that might be Joseph playing, but I typically. So you may see Joseph. So you may see Joseph from Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom on there as well, playing different games. I'm usually on there streaming something from Overwatch. So if you do want to interact with me, please. Again, please head over to Twitch and add NerdSloth. Thank you all so much for listening, and remember. Hey guys, I think we need to have a very serious conversation. Hang on. Thank you guys so much for listening and all of your support. Thank you guys so much for listening and all of your support. Thank you guys so much for listening and for all of your support. I may be back sooner than later with an additional episode that doesn't focus on a particular character but a group of characters. We'll kind of see how that goes, so that we have something in between, so that we have something to release in between the next Overwatch character. But I would love to know, who do you think is next? I would like to know, who do you think is next to join the Overwatch? Who do you think is going to be the next Overwatch character? Hit us up at NerdSloth on Twitter, or you can target me, or you can chat me up specifically at Slurrednerd. At Slurrednerd. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. And maybe we can have some sort of discussion that I can talk about on the next episode. But until then, just remember, hey guys, I think we need to have a very serious conversation here. You know, I looked at your browser history, and I understand the confusion, and I can understand what you're going through. You're really curious to know what the big deal is You're super curious to know what the big deal is with My Little Pony. I know. No, I know. You don't have to be shy about it. We've all done it. We've all dressed up and gone to the conventions just to see what all the hubbub is about. No, you don't need to be embarrassed. No, don't worry. You don't have to be embarrassed with me. We're both friends here. You don't have to be embarrassed with me. We're friends here. And because we're friends, I want to tell you about this podcast called Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom. This podcast features me. This podcast features yours truly. And this podcast features yours truly and my co-host Joseph. And my co-host Joseph. Together we watch all your favorite cartoons, both old and new, suggested by the listeners. suggested by the listeners. It is a celebration of cartoons and animation in It is a celebration of cartoons, animation. It is a celebration of animation and voice acting, and it's a celebration of animation and voice acting where you don't have to feel judged. Where you don't need to feel where you where you don't need to feel self-conscious. Where you don't have to feel self-conscious. So head over to Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom is available in iTunes, on Stitcher, on Google Play, and all of the places. But if you don't have a place, we have a place for you. Go to nerdsloth.com. Go to nerdsloth.com or YouTube. You can access all of our episodes there. Go to nerdsloth.com. Go to YouTube or nerdsloth.com and you can access all the episodes there. And you can access all the episodes there and more. You can even vote for your You can even access our request list. You can even access the request list by clicking the Cartoon Boom ranking poll. You can even access the current request list and vote your favorite cartoons up or down. Each week we will pick the top of the list. You can even access our current request list. There you can even access our current request list and vote for your favorite episode. And vote for which cartoon we watch next. Now, on with the episode. Okay, I'm done talking about cartoons. Let's move on to something more adult, like video games. Okay, I'm done talking about cartoons now, so let's move on to something a little more adult, like playing video games. Something more adult, like playing video games.